Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I'm here.
Mr. Cabrera.
I am here. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing same to the Herald of Cape May County, the Gazette Leader, and the Press of Atlantic City on December 7th, 2022. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is the door that you came in to your back right, our front left, or your front left, our front right by the American flag. Just a couple quick reminders, this meeting is being shown live here today on the borough's Facebook social media page and also on the borough's YouTube channel. In the event that you're watching the meeting and you have a question or a comment that you would like to make, you can use the conference line, which sits up here with us on the dais, by dialing the number 888-363-4734, and when prompted, you're going to enter the access code 969-902-0, followed by the pound or the hashtag. If you watch the recorded version of this meeting, you're more than welcome to call our clerk at 609-729-8040 or email her at clerk@wildwoodcrest.org in the event you have any comments or questions on anything that takes place here today. Madam Clerk, may we have the ordinances, please?
Yes, sir. The first is ordinance 1401 regarding licenses.
Motion that ordinance number 1401 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1401 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1401 reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest amending and supplementing Article 3 of Chapter 40 of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, entitled Portable Vending Units of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, to permit the use of an assistant salesperson.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1401.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1401 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open for any public comments on ordinance number 1401. Anybody on the conference line have any public comments on ordinance number 1401? Hearing none.
Motion that a public hearing on ordinance number 1401 now be closed.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1401 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Motion
Yes.
that ordinance number 1401 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Can I get a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1401 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1402 regarding land use accessory buildings.
Motion that ordinance number 1402 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
Second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1402 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1402 reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest amending and supplementing Section 85-11 definitions and Section 85-68 accessory buildings, structures, and uses in Chapter 85 of the Land Development Ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1402.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1402 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
And Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open. Any public comments on ordinance number 1402? Anybody here in the audience? Anybody on the conference line have any public comments on ordinance number 1402? Hearing none.
Motion that public hearing on ordinance number 1402 now be closed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1402 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1402 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1402 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1403, and it reads as follows. An ordinance amending and supplementing section 56A-5 of chapter 56A, rental properties of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, requirements for a mercantile license.
Motion that ordinance number 1403 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for a second and final reading and public hearing on July 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1403 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final and public hearing on July 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1404, and it reads as follows. An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 39, Land Use Procedures, Article 2, Zoning Officer, Section 39-7, Zoning Permit Application Fees and Escrow Deposit of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest.
Motion that ordinance number 1404 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on July 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1404 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on July 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing application to Lead Grant Assistance Program.
I'll motion that.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the issuance of not exceeding $9,500,000 bond anticipation notes of the Borough of Wildwood Crest in the County of Cape May, New Jersey.
Motion.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing release of escrow funds for permit number SO22-0411 in the amount of $727.50.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing release of escrow funds for permit number SO22-0412 in the amount of $547.50.
Motion.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the police services agreement with the BCMF LLC for law enforcement event support.
I'll motion that.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is supporting S-3906, known as the Give It Back Property Tax Relief legislation.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is opposing portions of A5175, which changes certain general election deadlines.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is recommending plan endorsement and adopting both the planning and implementation agreement and the center's designation boundary map.
Motion.
Second?
And before we have roll call, our administrator is going to make a brief presentation on this.
Yeah. Okay, Constance?
So, to explain, plan endorsement is a voluntary process established at the state level in New Jersey to promote consistency between local master plans and the goals and objectives of the state's development and redevelopment plan. It is through plan endorsement that local, county, and state governments work together to develop coordinated capital investment and planning implementation mechanisms that are consistent with each other. The plan endorsement process is administered by the State Planning Commission with participation with a variety of state agencies such as DEP and the Division of Water Quality, among others. Plan endorsement is a 10-year life. Pursuant to authority under the statute as amended by Administrative Code, the Wildwoods were granted an extension on our prior plan endorsement, which was due to expire on December 31st of 2018. In 2019, the Wildwoods began pursuing our regional plan endorsement collectively. Each town within the Wildwoods region had certain benchmarks to meet individually in pursuit of our plan endorsement. Some towns moved through the process more quickly than others, and we knew that that would happen because things that were involved in it had to do with affordable housing, things that some towns may have not yet tackled. Our town, luckily, had tackled all of the things required, and we have moved through the process far more quickly than the others, although we were taking a regional approach. I crafted and submitted our self-assessment plan in 2020, and many of the capital projects we listed on our MSA are now completed or nearly complete. It is important to note that we followed the letter of the law as we proceeded through the MSA without use of a planner by taking a grassroots effort and utilizing our planning board and our green team to help with that important document. After the completion of the MSA, I continued to work with the Office of Planning Advocacy to push to get important infrastructure included in our center's boundary, including a portion of the fishing pier, which was left out during our original plan endorsement back in the process in 2008. Although the DEP did not support our effort to pursue this, we moved to endorse this change. This brings us to today. Tonight, the governing body will approve the proposed PIA, it's a plan implementation, and center's boundary map as provided by the Office of Planning Advocacy. And the mayor and I participated in the State Planning Commission's meeting today, at which it was recommended that our petition for plan endorsement be forwarded to the State Planning Commission for approval on July 5th. Upon the state's final approval, we will have plan endorsement for the next 10 years. Once the island communities, Wildwood, North Wildwood, and West Wildwood move through the process, we will then have a regional plan endorsement. Our hard work for the last 5 years has finally paid off, and we were praised for following the letter of the law and taking a leadership role in getting this done. The benefits of plan endorsement are financial and technical incentives that will assist us in making an endorsed plan a reality. These incentives based on the endorsed plan include low-interest loans, tax credits, prioritized technical assistance, and coordinated regulatory review among all of the state agencies. The biggest benefit, in my opinion, to plan endorsement is higher impervious coverage limits for those properties which are in the center's boundary. Under the coastal zone management rules, CAFRA-regulated development located within a CAFRA center, that is town center, core, and/or a node, that have been adopted by the State Planning Commission and reviewed and accepted by the NJDEP for the purposes of CAFRA receive higher impervious coverage limits than development which is outside of a CAFRA center. In many cases, it's 80%. As stated earlier, we will also be eligible to receive technical assistance with important upcoming issues such as our UEZ zone and our redevelopment of New Jersey Avenue. So I'm very pleased to announce that we did receive that endorsement today, and we will move on to the State Planning Commission in a hearing on July 5th. And I'm very confident that we will receive our plan endorsement.
Thank you. So we have a pop quiz for everybody on Centers of Place that we're going to pass out to everybody. But I wanted to first extend our thank yous to Connie, because she did pretty much all the legwork on this, not just for Wildwood Crest, but for pretty much for all the municipalities here in the Wildwood. So Connie, thank you. And I don't think anyone really realizes how much money she may have saved the municipality by not having to hire a professional planner to do that. And also Megan Wren, who does work for the state, she was right there with us, and any bit of help or insight she could provide us to get us to this finish line, she's been very helpful. And on the call today, she was advocating for Wildwood Crest. I'd have to say we're probably her favorite, in disrespect to the other wilds. Anyway, but thank you. Entertain a motion to vote on this.
I have a motion and a second. Now I just need the roll call. So Mr. Schiff,
Yes.
Mr. Franco,
Yes.
and Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing release of permit funds for a canceled permit number 2022-0122 in the amount of $470.40.
Motion?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco?
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera?
Yes.
Next is authorizing Borough Engineer Work Order for fiscal year 2023 NJDOT Municipal Aid Reconstruction of Orchid Road at the not-to-exceed sum of $135,000.
Motion?
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco?
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera?
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco?
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera?
Yes.
Motion that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency service coordinator for the EMS, and the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending May 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS, and the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending May 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all minutes from the commission meeting dates May 24th and June 7th, 2023 be approved as presented.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that all minutes from the commission meetings dated May 24th and June 7th be approved as presented. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Okay, that brings us to our administrator's report.
I was going to,
Oh,
if
wait.
you wouldn't mind
Yep.
interjecting here. Can we have our
What public safety report?
public safety reports come in now so we can let these guys leave?
All right, who wants to go first? Beach Patrol?
Sounds good.
I promise when I get them out here early.
Good evening, good afternoon. Thanks for entertaining this report from on behalf of Chief Johnson and all members of the Wildwood Crest Beach Patrol. Number one, the 2023 WCBB lifeguard coverage is every day from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., weather permitting, until the Sunday after Labor Day, which is September 10th. Our handicap transport service is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. whenever lifeguards are on duty. We do provide surf chairs, beach wheelchairs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They must be picked up and returned at the Beach Patrol headquarters at Rambler Road and the beach. We have surfing beaches at Rambler Road and Primrose, Astor Cardinal, and Hollywood Topeka. We are currently in the process of training and certifying 21 new candidates. Our futures program for grades 9 and 10 was supposed to begin today, but unfortunately due to the weather, it was postponed and will resume next Monday and will be held on Mondays and Wednesdays for the next 4 weeks. Our junior lifeguard programs for grades 4 through 8 will begin tomorrow, weather permitting, and will be held every Tuesday and Thursday, again for the next 4 weeks. The Wildwood Crest Beach Patrol will again be hosting the 39th annual Cape May County Lifeguard Championships on Friday, July 7th, starting at 6:30 p.m. at Rambler Road and the beach in Wildwood Crest. We would hope that everybody could attend and see the competition in progress. If you have any questions, please call the Beach Patrol headquarters at 609-522-3825 for any information, questions, or concern. And we also do have a website, wcbp.org. So thank you for your time, and have a great meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Mr. Harwood?
Yes, sir. How are you? Good evening. Monthly reports for the,
We're not, I'm sorry, Ron. We're not in public comments yet. When the time comes, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
monthly reports for the departments I oversee. The Wild Crest Volunteer Fire Company. We had a total of 29 calls for the month of May. We had 3 motor vehicle accidents, 6 hazardous call gas leaks, 1 service call, defective elevator, 4 good intent calls, 15 false alarms or malfunctions of fire alarms for a total of 29 calls. That's for the fire department for the month of May. For the EMS, we had a total of 91 calls. For the Wildwood Crest EMS division, we had 35 patients transported to the hospital, 21 refusals, 9 recalled or canceled by dispatch, 26 standbys with the fire department. We gave 2 mutual aids to the city of Wildwood. We received 2 mutual aids from the city of Wildwood. We gave 10 to the city of Wildwood and 7 to Lower Township for the month of May. Moving to the Inspection Bureau, for the month of May, we did 785 inspections, 145 re-inspections. We inspected 19 life hazards. We did 10 re-inspections of life hazards. We had 5 complaints for a total of 935 inspections for the month of May. We sent out 151 notices of violations, and we sent out 818 certificates of inspections. We had 2 smoke detector searches only for the month of May. Under the 5-year SLIP program for housing, we did 37 units were inspected for the month of May. Moving into the Office of Emergency Management, I attended the municipal coordinators meeting June 1st, and we updated our emergency operating plans, which was approved last meeting, and we're waiting on approval from the state for that. And that's my reports.
Don't leave it. So I would like to personally thank you and the volunteer fire company for allowing the beach patrol to use the parking lot while we're under renovation, and also, more importantly, the building for training, CPR, and everything that we need to move forward. So from our beach patrol, and I know the commissioners also appreciate it, they helped us work this through, and we appreciate it all.
Working out well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Captain?
Good evening. For the month of May, the police department handled 2,017 calls for service. That included 350 criminal investigations, 380 service calls, 638 traffic calls. Of those, we had 435 motor vehicle stops, which resulted in 82 traffic summonses issued, and there were also 103 parking summonses issued. The officers conducted 381 property checks, along with 719 hours of training. There was also 19 arrests for the month. 18 were adults and 1 juvenile, with 6 DUIs. I'd also like to take a moment just to commend Wildwood for the Barefoot Country Music Fest, the amount of planning, preparation, everything that went into that, and the fact that our officers were able to be a part of that, from planning all the way through to the security at the actual event. It's definitely top notch, and the agencies and everything that they bring in, our officers having an opportunity to be involved in that and see all of that, and then also, just hearing the compliments from the crowd and our fellow public safety entities as far as how our officers performed and how well a job they did. I just wanted to, number one, thank Wildwood for allowing us to be a part of that, and then also commend the officers for a job well done. You also see we've had some of our summer officers have come on board. We'll have more added by the end of the month, so we'll be at our full complement of officers going into July 4th weekend. That's our report.
I would like to also acknowledge the same. I thought the Barefoot Country Music Festival, I thought there was a very strong police presence, and at every area where you would think that you would need to see one, there was at least not just one, but maybe 3 or 4. And I saw them parading through the crowd, and anything that was, and there was anything violent, it was nicely done and calmly escorted out for people that may have had too much to drink, but nonetheless, it was very well handled, and I think the concert overall was very good for the island and was handled from a security standpoint very well.
It was a really good event. It was a good crowd of people. It was nice to see the officers be involved in a positive thing, and from everything from our youngest officers, our canine officers, supervisors that were involved in the planning, and different aspects there. It was a top-notch event, and it was very well put together. That's a testament to WOW and their leadership, but like I said, it was nice for the officers to be involved in that.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Heard all good things.
Okay. All right. That wraps up all the public safety reports. Let's jump back to the administrator's report.
So our beach bump out project, the 11th Street and south of Rambler are now complete with just a few outstanding items left to complete. We do have bike racks that are ordered to supplement what currently exists, and they will be installed shortly. The Crest Arts Pavilion is now open, and all of the punch list items are complete. We're going to be doing a walkthrough shortly. It is open every day from 9 to 4, Monday through Saturday, and on Sundays from 9 to 1. They will be opening at 8 shortly. They're about to change hours and do just a little bit more. And our grand opening was very well attended, so thank you for everybody who stopped out to see it, and I encourage everyone to do so who hasn't. Hereford Inlet to Cape May Inlet Beach and Dune construction, there's really nothing new to report. We do expect that to be under construction in late 2024 or early 2025. New Jersey Avenue, nothing new to report. Sunset Lake Channel dredging, this one is important, and I'm going to do exactly what I did last month, so that everyone is aware of this, and hopefully it continues to get publicity so everyone is aware. The NJDOT, the Department of Transportation, Office of Maritime Resources, will be dredging the state boating channels from North Wildwood, Wildwood, and West Wildwood, from the mouth of Beach Creek to Post Creek Basin between the beginning of September to the end of January, to remove shoals and restore navigability. Approximately 124,000 cubic yards of sediment will be removed using a hydraulic cutter hedge pipeline dredge and pumped to one of 3 sites for dewatering. Dredging operations are going to be 24/7. They will go on throughout the night. 3 sites that were identified for dewatering are at 26th Street in North Wildwood. That is a last case resort. They probably will not use that unless it's absolutely necessary. The main area of disposal will be at the Spicer Avenue in Wildwood, the public works yard there, and the old dump. That's going to be the main place where they're going to dewater in geotubes. Once the material is dewatered, it is permitted to be removed and trucked to the Tuckahoe Turf Farm. That will be a trucking operation which will commence on or about February 1st and will be completed by May 31st. That is subject to change where that material will go, but that is the permitted site at this time. So I just wanted everybody to know, if you're going to be out and about and boating, there is shoaling, but they are going to address it. They are going to start the beginning of September. You're going to see construction materials start to arrive, and you're going to start to see mobilization occur this summer, so be careful when you're out and about on the water. Washington Avenue Brick Planning Study. This gentleman next to me just finished the study. He did a fabulous job. We did receive funding in the amount of $94,000 to have a study done on the Washington Avenue flooding. Upon submission and approval of that final study, we will seek reimbursement of the $70,000 that FEMA will owe us, and we will pursue a FEMA grant for the recommended work that will be a part of that study. Our grant writer is already making preparations along with Mark to work on that. The EV charging stations, nothing new to report since last month. 2023 DCA Small Cities Grant, we do have a grant that's ready to be utilized for $342,000. That will be to remodel bathrooms to make them ADA accessible in Crest Pier and here. And we haven't started the bid process yet on that. That's about it for my report. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Any questions for Con?
Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. All good stuff. Thank you.
Public, any questions of our administrator?
Dave McWilliams talked about.
Can you, sir, can you go to the mic? We
I
can't
certainly
really.
can.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Thanks, Brian.
We talked about bike racks. Are we gonna put up signs at the beach ends? Because I'm seeing bikes already locked, and there's no sign that says you can't do that.
So the bike racks should be, Steve, I think they were due to arrive yesterday or the day. Did the bike racks come in yet?
We delivered or arrived today.
Okay, so the bike racks have arrived, and I guess you're asking for a question, or asking for signage for not to tie anything to the actual decks.
Right, whether the racks are there or not, there's not a sign that says don't lock them here, especially those brand new, beautiful things we've put up.
Yes.
Pergolas.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, without a sign, I don't know how you enforce the regulation that says you can't lock your bike there.
I will follow up on that. I don't believe they've been ordered yet, but I know we've talked about getting them ordered. I think Steve, Can you check on that by tomorrow, just let us know? I know that there was discussion on ordering signs, I just want to make sure that happened. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I had one more question, a different issue, the plan adoption. Does the fact that the other municipalities haven't finished theirs impact our moving forward on any of our
No,
projects?
we're scheduled for July 5th, no matter what. And then we will receive regional endorsement later once they catch up.
Okay, but it won't impact, they're not being ready, won't impact our moving forward in any of the projects we have on the
No,
books?
plan endorsement establishes a map for our center's boundaries and basically provides technical assistance, but no, it won't impact any of our projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody on the conference line have any questions on the administrator's report? Hearing none, we'll move right to the engineer's report.
Thank you. The contractor for the reconstruction of Syracuse Avenue has completed all the work in the original contract. That contractor is currently working on finishing the improvements at Preston Park, and we've had some recent visitors nesting in the park already. And the final surface course paving of Bayview Drive from Denver to Hollywood will be completed by the end of next week. And at that point, we can close out the project. The contractor for the Beach Patrol headquarters renovation has remobilized to the site to finish the demolition, and we are back on track with that construction project. Next item, as Connie had mentioned, the contractor for the Beach Street and Public Access Improvement Phase 2 project has completed all the 11 platforms. They just recently completed installing the pergolas. This week, they'll be installing the planters and some minor accoutrements, and then they will be done by this Friday. Then they'll come back in the fall to do the final paving, which is the more cumbersome final piece of the project. But so far, so good, and we're happy with how they've progressed and the work they've done. Survey and base mapping of the Bayside Bulkhead Replacement Project has been completed, and we are currently in the design phase. We've recently received a letter from the NJDEP through our JD process that we don't need a CAFRA permit, which is great news. They did indicate that we needed a waterfront development permit, which we always knew, but that permit is more benign than the CAFRA permit. So onward and upward with that project. Lastly, as Connie had mentioned, the Washington Avenue Storm Sewer Study is complete. We are scheduled to deliver that final report here next week. We'll provide a copy of that to your grant consultant so that we can actually get you some money. And just to kind of summarize that report, we'll recommend the installation of 2 storm sewer pump stations, one at the end of the street end at Rambler Road and one back behind the Public Works Yard, as well as internal piping along the beachfront to use recharge chambers, excuse me, not Rambler Road, Washington Avenue, I'm sorry. Yep, Washington Avenue. Recharge piping along the beachfront to take advantage of recharging groundwater and some piping, et cetera. So we're going to provide a little summary with a narration to the borough so you can hang that on your website for the public to access. That's my report.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for our engineer?
I just want to highlight the bump outs have turned out great, in my opinion. So thank you to Mark and Mr. Chavone for their hard work. I think they're excellent. So I wanted to say thank you to them.
Good job.
Anybody on the conference line have any questions for our engineer? Hearing none. All right, we're going to move on to correspondence. So speaking of the bump, one of the correspondence pieces that we had received was with respect to the beach bump outs and the beach access areas, but also the appearance of the streets and buildings. This individual just wanted to commend all of those who touch those areas and for all the positive forward thinking projects that are going in the municipality. The other correspondence piece, have been bombarded with emails and calls and about the additional hour that was recommended by the Beach Patrol for the Topeka to Hollywood Avenue surfing beach. Just to kind of give everybody a little background on that, because we're going to go right into public comments. I can only assume some of the folks here might be here to have their voices be heard there and also on the conference line. So I just wanted to just remind everyone, so I think it was 2 years ago or so, the Beach Patrol had a recommendation to create a surfing beach from Topeka to Hollywood from the hours of 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I think the concerns, if I can kind of summarize it, was there didn't seem to be enough notice or discussion on that happening, and it was a surprise to see it going on down on the beach. And also, they didn't understand that the Beach Patrol actually by ordinance has the ability to create surfing beaches and close down beaches and do whatever they need to do on the beach. I can tell you that on this additional hour that was added for this year, there was a press release, there were some social media posts, I think there was some coverage by the media and all that. There wasn't, letters or anything handed out to anybody that lives in the Hollywood and Topeka area. That would be uncommon for a municipality to do that. However, certainly can understand if no one was aware of the additional hour. So I think that kind of summarizes as to how we got to where we are. I can tell you that from the emails that I received, there is no plans to make that beach full-time for surfing. And also when approached by the Beach Patrol, it was, hey, let's give it a shot, extra hour. If there seems to be some major issues and so forth, we can always adjust, midstream. And I think that's kind of where we are today. And I think that whatever has been happening out on the beach apparently has upset some people. So we're certainly here to talk about and talk through the issues. And we're going to go from that right into public comments. I will say also that I am aware that there's a text message chain and people going door to door and so forth. I think one of those things, somebody actually came to my house, people are coming to my house, that I live on Hollywood Avenue as well, which I think is a little over the top. But nonetheless, I was not home, although the text message said I didn't answer the door. I don't believe I work for a living, so I'm sorry I wasn't home in the afternoon. So nonetheless, we're going to go right into public comments. And public comments, I'm going to ask everyone to keep their comments to a 5-minute maximum. And all we need for the record is just your name. We don't need your address. Okay? So we're going to open the floor to public comments.
Hi, good evening,
Oh,
folks.
okay.
Thanks for your time today.
We're gonna start with, all right, you know what? We'll start with anyone on the conference line first, and then we'll go to those who are here in the audience. Go ahead. Just need your name.
Okay, perfect. Yes, thank you. It's Ann O'Brien.
Got it.
Go ahead, Ann.
Okay, so thank you for the background. I have to disagree. People coming to your door is not over the top. It's extreme frustration for the folks that have tremendous investments on these couple of blocks. We were not engaged in this significant decision. It is a big deal for us. We are the property owners. We pay taxes. We pay salaries. And Wildwood Crest does a lovely job, but I'll tell you, you should have reached out to each and every homeowner. We are on that beach 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. We have elderly. We have wheelchair folks. We have small children. We have a ton of special needs folks, autism folks that come there and enjoy that beach. And for all the taxes we're paying, we have to sit for maybe a handful of surfers? First of all. Second of all, what safety study was done? Beach Patrol can just name their game there on that beach. What about the safety? The sewer pump is there. The elderly are there. They swim far out. It's their form of exercise. What safety was done? Can anybody tell me? What population studies was done on the beach and how very crowded it is at 11 o'clock? This is not a good decision. What about our parking? We're now going to have to fight for parking with surfers. This was inappropriate, and I'm sorry, but it was inappropriate. And I would also like to know if most of us here that own property and pay the taxes are out-of-towners, how do we get more engaged in elections? So I'll yield there for your response.
Okay, so with this venue that's happening right now, what I'd like to do is to have everyone voice their opinion or questions first, and I'll be happy to entertain them all together instead of trying to entertain each person individually. I don't think that's fair. I think it's time consuming, and I think when I go through this, you'll understand a little bit better. So if you'll hold on and let's ask for the next public comment.
Sure, and for the record, so just so everyone knows, so Commissioner Schiff directly oversees the Wildwood Crest Beach Patrol, so he'll be responding on behalf of the Beach Patrol. Anybody on the conference line? Hearing none, we're going to freeze the conference line and go to anyone here in the audience. Please come up to the podium. Just need your name.
I'm glad I just learned that I can't tell you where I live. But I'll give you a clue.
Y'all know where I live, though, right?
I live on the same street as the mayor. In fact, I was there
I
yesterday.
just need your name for the record.
Knocking on your door. I'm sorry?
I need your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Lori Poinkowski. And my husband is William, and we live together in that special place. Okay.
Don't come without coffee, though.
No comment. Okay. My husband and I feel very blessed to be residing in permanently now in Wildwood Crest, which we moved there 2 years ago permanently. So to start off on a good note, I would like to compliment you on all the wonderful things that you do in Wildwood Crest. Our beaches are beautifully maintained and in impeccable shape. I like the bike path that we have now on Seaview for our biker friends. And I'm especially liking the bulkheads with the showers and the nice walkway down. A few years ago, I fell on my face on some of those uneven boards. I had quite an injury to my eye, and you were incredibly speedy about fixing that, that board. And a couple years later, I noticed another board, and I sent a little text like, "Oh, by the way, it's me." So, and that was fixed again, very quickly. Okay, all these things that you do, I'm assuming, are to improve the lives of the residents of Wildwood Crest, and also to accommodate and improve the visitors that come in the summer and to our rental places. But this evening, I come to you with a matter of great concern that I and the residents of Hollywood and Topeka have expressed, and that is the surfing hours on our beach. I'm switching to page 2. Okay, prior to when we started the 10 to 12, surfing hours, when my granddaughter used to surf at the beach here, the surfers could come anytime before the lifeguards were on patrol and could surf anytime after. And reluctantly, we were forced to accept the new ruling of surfing from 10 to 12, with your assurance underlined that those hours would never increase. That assurance was broken this year when we learned of the surf hours that were increased from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you can understand our reluctance to accept your promise that we will not become a full-time surfing beach. Surfers are welcome at other beaches in Wildwood Crest. So why have we added Wildwood Crest? Why have we added Hollywood and Topeka to the list? It is also my understanding that one resident of Hollywood Avenue who no longer owns property on Hollywood Avenue requested surfing hours during the regular swimming hours. Only a handful of surfers surf from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., while hundreds of swimmers are refused entry into the water. So why are we ignoring the needs of many while catering to the few? It is our hope that we can have a discussion to satisfy your homeowners who pay taxes, as well as the few surfers who take advantage of the 3 hours of surfing. I thank you for your time and consideration, and we do have some suggestions. One may be to start the surfing at 9 a.m., have a lifeguard come in, and that lifeguard could leave early and still maintain that 12 o'clock. Another one would be to rotate the privilege of being a surfing beach to other streets besides ours. So I thank you for your time, and I hope that you will consider some of our suggestions And I know that there are other people that want to speak besides myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Nobody
Are we
else?
okay? For everybody who wants to speak?
I think we're just really our main concern.
Here, come up here first.
Just need your name, sir.
Jody Marco. I think our main concern is that we strictly do not become a full-time surfing beach. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
That is just our main concern.
The hours or the full?
That we don't
Entirely.
become a strictly
From
full-time.
10 to 5:30 every day or something?
Yes, yes.
Got it.
Okay, so
That's not it.
is there any, do you have anything else? I don't want to
No,
interrupt
I
you.
think that's our main concern.
I'd like to put that,
Everything?
I'd like to put that to bed, that part of it, if you don't mind. But I'll address that.
Okay.
We understand your concerns. The way this popped up to us was not only the residents that are here, but there were residents that emailed our department and asked if we could extend the hours, because the 2 hours from the 10 to 12, they thought maybe we could extend the hours. Now, I was not up here as a commissioner of public safety when a decision was made for the surfing beach. I was not here. But I was working on the beach patrol, and I was doing the handicap transport. Some of you might know me from that part. So I've been on that beach 11 years, 13 this year. And I've seen the evolution of everything. So I had probably 5 emails that stated that, yes, we'd like to extend, that they would like us to extend the hours, and also, to your point, make it a full-time surfing area, okay? So when I came into office, I spoke to the chief, and his response was, we're not going to make this a full-time surfing beach. It's not going to happen. But as a good compromise, how about we extend it 1 hour to see what happens? And that was the compromise at this time. Also, there was discussion about if it doesn't work, would we revert? Some people are starting to talk about the numbers of people, and that's in the report that I have here. So our lifeguards that are on the beach, that are on that beach, the surfing beach, count how many people are in the water. I understand, but I'm going to give you the stats. So back from 2021, there was an average of 10 to 15 surfers a day between 10 and 12. Last year, 22, the average was 20 to 25 a day. It's anticipated that we're probably going to be between 30 and 35 surfers a day. And as was stated just early ago, someone asked or said, well, how about if we just put a guard on duty on that beach from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock? To me, that's not going to work because of a number of things. And the number of things become this. If we do that for one beach, I'm going to have other people say, you have it down there, let's do it over here. And that extends our whole beach hours through the borough. Our beach hours are set from 10 o'clock to 5:30. So that's not going to be acceptable right there, to let you know right off the bat. With all due respect, I'm saying this. So let me go through just a couple of things that I had jotted down to give you a little bit more of how things worked and what was thought out. So we have designated surfing beaches in Wildwood Crest for over 60 years. Only 3 out of 42 blocks in Wildwood Crest are designated surf beaches, and that's a percentage of 7%. Surfing is a recreational activity, and Wildwood Crest is a wellness community, so it fits into our borough needs. We have never had a complaint or concern from the residents on Astor, Cardinal, Primrose, or Rambler in regards to surfing. And as the mayor stated, in '21, we received requests for a guarded surfing beach for residents in the South Zone. So the reason Hollywood Topeka was recommended was because, number one, it's a beachfront residential area. Central location also in the South Zone. And as was stated, Hollywood Avenue outfall line had restricted bathing there also. And it was a good spot to try. And once again, I was not on that as a commissioner to make that decision. And I'm not aware of anybody ever saying we promised anything. At least I know it was not me. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get it out there and get it straight so we don't have, it's very hard when you have somebody saying something that might not be true, and then we have to kind of backpedal and get the facts out there a little bit, and that's what I'm trying to do. So the Beach Patrol would like to continue to monitor and keep stats on the guarded surfing beaches on Hollywood and Topeka. There was some concern about we didn't advertise it, publicize it, whatever, but we did. And it was on Facebook, and it was May 22nd, 2023. It was also on our borough website, which I have a copy of it right here. And we're Children Advocate also, where we want to promote wellness. And having the surfing beaches in place is a heck of a lot better than having the kids that are surfing in the water surfing instead of sitting home on their computer, not doing anything. There was another concern about handicap and people with special needs that have to walk over a block left or right. I'm a part of the handicap transport part of the beach. We received 13,870 calls last year for handicap transport. We are more than happy to help you get to the beach and get back. In fact, I'm honored to do that. I feel special about it, and I'm glad to help the people that we can. Basically, I'm sorry for the oversight with the non-communication, but I'm almost 100% sure, as the mayor said, that we don't communicate all our moves in the borough with a specific letter to everybody. I know on the school board, and I was the school board president in Wildwood Crest for many years, we didn't do that either. So sometimes a phone call, sometimes a message. I wish instead of hitting the streets, I wish you would have come to us so maybe we could answer some of these things ahead of time. And I feel your frustration. Somebody wrote something, I remember reading an email about a tripping hazard. I understand that. So I think that's about all I have.
Well,
And you may
I'm
not-
sorry, sir, I'm just going to continue with a public comment. I appreciate what you said, but I'm sorry, but the wellness of the taxpayers on these two blocks takes priority to surfers. You're now giving hundreds of people at a disadvantage to have to walk to other blocks and set up all the paraphernalia that they bring with all their children because you've made this, you extended the surfing time. This is unacceptable, and we will not stop until this is reverted back to where it was. We're not even happy with it, but we'll give you back, we'll let it stand, but we need it rolled back that hour. End of story. This is deeply unfair. 45 surfers and people are not in the beach. Give me a break. You want us to all haul our crap to other streets so that we can swim for the surfers? Unacceptable, sir.
All right, let me get clear on this.
So how do we roll this back?
Now,
What are
now
our
let me say
options as a
something first,
taxpayer?
please. And I really didn't want to address this way. But the way I understand that street, and the way I understand the way it's laid out for surfing, you can walk to either the right or the left to get to the beach and to get to swimming. And we're not restricting swimming there. So, am I feeling that the whole thing is this 1 hour? Is that the whole problem?
We want it rolled back to where it was. We're not happy already with what you've done. This is another slip in. I'm sorry, but we're not on your Facebook. We are home in our respective states paying for these homes and paying for the taxes. We don't have time to rummage through and see what may come up. You should have engaged us with a letter. When you're talking about changing our lifestyle here at our home, you should have engaged us. You should have. I don't care if it's typical. It's good business and it's good relationship, and you failed to do it. And that's the fact. I'd never do it to my clients. They're paying. This is their property, hundreds of millions. And you just rolled with this. A simple letter saying, folks, do we have you, do we not have you, would have just really alleviated this, and it would have been appreciated. So I am respectfully requesting you roll this back to where it was, and then we'll reapproach the need to have this before next summer, and we'll all come down and we'll meet you there and we will discuss it. But I really need this repealed back to the noon time. And so does South Pizzeria and the Suncrest Deli and all the other places that are wanting business from beachgoers, not surfers.
I'm sorry, what was that last part? They want
There's a whole bunch of
beaches from
There's-
swimmer or from beachgoers, not surfers?
Yeah, the people who are buying food around all these places here are the folks that are sitting on the beach all day, not surfers.
Okay.
So we're impacting them as well.
Gotcha. I didn't, you faded out. I couldn't hear what you said. I thought I just wanted to confirm
Yeah.
that's what was said. Okay.
Yeah, so I need you to repeal this. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anybody else have any more comments? Sir, come on up here.
Just clarification. Bob, I'm sorry.
Be careful.
Bob Crawford. Just clarification, Mr. Schiff. You said that this change was a response to 5 emails?
Well, yeah.
Requesting 5 people came to you.
5
not to you,
families,
5
yes.
families, fair enough. Came to you and said, we want another hour of surfing.
No, they wanted a full day.
Okay, fair enough. So you responded and said no to 5 families. And said, no, you can't have all day, but 5 families. You can have 1 hour. Now, you also said, it sounded like to me, is that this group, the mayor and you all, allow the beach patrol to make decisions with regard to the hours, including the hours that a beach will have surfers. So that's not your decision, that's the beach patrol's decision.
I believe that's an ordinance.
Okay, so we'll ordinance aside for a moment, just in
Okay.
terms of being responsive and being aware of what the citizens want and need, I would certainly turn to you all and not the beach patrol. But this model says the beach patrol, I guess, they got the 5 emails, or if they didn't get it, somebody got to them and said, beach patrol, there are 5 families who want to increase surfing for another hour. And yet nothing, as best I can determine, was done by the beach patrol to determine what the tens of maybe hundreds of people living on Hollywood and Topeka might feel. So it just feels to me like it was a decision that was made without any input. It was a decision that was made without considering anyone else other than the 5 families. And so it feels to me, and now I'll stop, is that it is a very unbalanced, poorly thought out decision. So going back to what the lady on the phone said was, let's take a step backwards. Let's not have the hour. now. Let's do the appropriate study, analysis, conversation, and then after that effort, make a decision that's based on fact and the wishes of the people. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to respond just a second with that. And the Beach Patrol, we have over 200 and some odd thousand people on that beach, and that's a big department. And trust me, that wasn't a decision that was just lightly made. I brought it to the attention of the chief of our Beach Patrol, and he thought about it since December. I'm sorry, really October when it came to us. It was a thought-out decision. It was a trial decision. And we do take in consideration everybody's safety and everybody's, as much as we can, feelings that we're doing the right thing for all. And I understand, like I said, 5 emails. I received 5 emails from you guys, if you want to take it that way. I didn't receive anything else except for 5 emails that I got. Okay, so I'm not looking at numbers like that. So I guess with what I'm feeling right now and what I'm hearing, I'm going to ask the commissioners their opinion. Okay? We can roll back that hour, and I will, the chief of the Beach Patrol, I already discussed with him, and we'll ask them. Now, really and truly, the way this works, so you understand, the chief of the Beach Patrol has control of the beach, every aspect of it. It's not really a decision of the commissioners of how the beach is going to run. It's just like our police department. The chief of police runs it. He's there for doing that specific job. It's a big task. I understand your feelings, and I appreciate it. And I have no problem. I will ask the commissioners to voice in right now, and we'll make a decision.
So I will say, so I probably have close to 10 emails and probably another 10 phone calls that I haven't had a chance to get back. I think that's as a result of whoever's leading the group saying, call the mayor, call the mayor. So I go to his house, do whatever you got to do. So anyway, so at the end of the day, and I think, so from my standpoint, I certainly trust the opinion of our Beach Patrol management, Commissioner Schiff, as to what's right, what's best for all of Wildwood Crest. That said, I'm 1 hour, 10 to 12, 10 to 1, to me an hour is an hour, but certainly if it's an issue for our property, owners, I have no problem in rolling it back to 12 o'clock. I tend to agree, now that I think it through, and based on what Commissioner Schiff has said, starting earlier and trying to allow that, could set the precedent of, hey, the other two, you did it down in the southern end, why not roll it up to another hour? Next thing you know, our whole beach patrol is coming out at 9 o'clock as opposed to 10. We're trying to keep the taxes stable and trying to stay within budget and all that stuff. So I probably would say, could we have some flexibility? Could the beach patrol maybe go 10 to 1, for the rest of June, and then roll it back 10 to 12 for the busiest part of the summer, July and August, and then the Labor Day weekend, and then roll it back to 12 o'clock? We can work together there, and then maybe we can extend it back to 10 to 1 in the off season after Labor Day to the end of September until the beach patrol goes off duty for the rest of the year. That would be probably my recommendation and thoughts at this time.
I disagree.
I didn't receive any emails from anyone, so I appreciate that, but over phone calls. But
Yeah,
I do.
10 to 12.
Excuse me, Ann.
Hold on. We're board's deliberating at this point.
So my thoughts on this kind of mirror my fellow commissioners. That obviously we see that you're unhappy. We want to work with everyone here. My thought would be just to scale it back to 12 o'clock for the whole summer. I don't think doing it in June for an extra hour here, I think it's a little bit confusing with that. So I think moving forward, I think you just need to have one set time. And I believe that we probably are on the same page for rolling that extra hour back. So that's my thoughts on that.
Go ahead.
If they want an extra hour, why not?
And did you name for the record?
Barb Moreau, Hollywood Avenue.
Barb, can you?
They're supposed to say that.
if they want the extra hour, why not do like a 4:30 to 5:30 towards the end of the day for that extra hour? And just leave it 10 to 12 that we got kind of hoodwinked into doing anyway. And we all settled, I think I can speak for people I know here, that we're all okay with that. But then, like I'm dragging my 85-year-old mother to the beach every day, and now I got to go down that way. Or my 5 grandchildren under 4 years old. Oh, well, let's go down that way. I mean, I've been coming here since I'm 8 years old. I've had a place on Hollywood Avenue since, well, I haven't, but my parents have, since I'm 8 years old. And now I brought up my kids here, and now my grandkids here, and now we have to schlep because of 5 families that emailed you. What about, there's, 10 of us right here that are concerned about this. And, you right now are kind of belittling us, saying, it's not a joke to us. This is important to us.
Nobody's,
Yes, he did.
please.
Okay.
Just, I'm not going to tolerate that.
And the man that was here, the lifeguard guy that was here, he was the one who was driving the truck the other day when I went up to him and I asked him what was going on. He goes, "Don't shoot the messenger. I have nothing to do with it." Well, he did know about it. So that was a lie to us, a lie to one of the people on the beach.
All right.
And it's not right.
We hear you, okay? And right now, I believe the consensus right here is to roll this back.
Yes. I'm just telling you, another suggestion would be, if they want an extra hour, do a 4:30 to 5:30.
That won't work for us.
That swim at 4:30. Too many people that swim at 4:30. I'm there all the time.
Can we just,
Roll it back.
I can't.
Okay, hold on, somebody has the floor.
So, I mean, that was just a suggestion.
Thank
Or
you.
the alternating streets. If they want to do this, alternate streets.
No, I think less is best, meaning
Well, we all
Less-
agree with less is best too, but,
less confusing.
yeah.
Okay, once we start, we're not going to get into that, move it here, move it there, change it here. Nobody's going to understand what's going on, okay? So I'm in agreement right now to move it back and keep the original hours from 12 to 10. I think that's the easiest, I'm sorry, from
We knew
from
what you
10 to
meant.
12.
We knew what you meant.
For the record.
Yeah, AM. And after that, surfers can go to the beach when we're off the beach.
That's
They
what we
go
used
to the
to do
beach.
when we were younger.
They can come to the beach and surf before hours.
Exactly.
But once we come on, we're on, and we
Yeah.
protect that beach.
That's understand.
I
We
appreciate
understand
your comments, and I think we just solved this part of the problem.
that. Thank you.
So for the record, does that take effect immediately?
Yeah.
That's
so
what I need to know.
I don't.
Hang on, I don't know how that's going to work for us. Ron? Is there, I mean, it was never voted on before, really.
Commissioner, absolutely, your call or your purview as Commissioner of Public Safety needs to be directed to you to your subordinates. And however that needs to be accomplished in good judgment, you can affect that.
All right.
Yes, to 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. so it would be repealed back 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Correct.
For the entire, from tomorrow.
Let's start it from tomorrow.
Okay, so for the record,
Tomorrow to the end of the season, okay?
June 22nd
I want everybody to
through
leave
end.
here saying to themselves, we're listening, we understand. We don't have to come out, I mean, it's a lot of times when there's something that touches somebody, you get fired up, you get out there, you're beating the drums and you're bringing in people, but you're not hearing everything, and you're not giving us really a chance to take in consideration what you're saying and to react in a positive way. We're your commissioners. We're here for you. And sometimes I feel we're the bad guys, or people make us the bad guys, when we're not. We're trying to do the best we possibly can. And I think
Hold on, I'm sorry, let Commissioner Schiff make his comments, please.
I want to thank my fellow commissioners for the understanding of us all. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, on the conference line, is that?
If you don't want homeowners to be hot and frustrated, then engage us. I just want to leave that as my party comment.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So it's a difficult challenge, right? So just to lastly, so we have, I know that I've received comments, the same ones you probably received, that asked it for the beach, for that beach to be, allow surfing longer. And I think, again, to Commissioner Schiff's point, it was trying to find some ground to keep everybody happy. For whatever the reason, it seems like the people with smaller children, those who are beginning surfers, like to use the Topeka to Hollywood area as opposed to, I'll call it the more skilled surfers that are
On
maybe
Rambler.
on Rambler Road and so
Right.
forth. So I just want everyone to just keep their eye on the prize here, which is provide recreational activity for everybody, right? So if you're a beginner, you have a place to go. If you have small children that are learning to surf, I think that's what we're trying to accomplish. You know, certainly sending out notice, that's a difficult challenge, because that means almost every decision that the municipality would make, regardless of who's sitting up here, would have to provide notice to everybody on it. That's the purpose of coming out to your meetings, reading the meeting minutes, listening. We can't be more accessible because you can see it online on the YouTube channel, Facebook. You can call it. Where else can you go and actually have? You could be sitting in Italy and call into your local commissioner's meeting and ask a question. So we're trying to be as accessible as we can. So I don't want anyone to think there was something intentionally done to get away with something, when I think that this municipality is very accessible to the public. Okay, so decision is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. starting tomorrow. Correct, Commissioner
Yes.
Schiff?
And one last thing. I'll be happy to pick you up and bring you down to the beach anytime. I will.
not do that until she cannot walk.
Okay, I appreciate that. And there's a lot of people. Whatever you need, that's what we're here for. That's one of the things that we've done to help people.
She wants to stay as independent as possible.
And I understand that quite
Trust
well.
me, my
Thank
mother
you.
lives upstairs. Next time someone comes to my house, go to the one upstairs.
Can you have, yes, you can. I have. All right. So if you do need the number for the people out there, it's 609-522-3825. Press number 2, which is handicap transport or elderly, or if you need it, we're there for you. Thanks.
Okay, that wraps up that conversation. Do we have any other public comments on another topic?
Joe Viscovi. First of all, I want to make a comment too, and I've been to a couple, you guys know I come to meetings, and I saw the one for the planning board. For years, I think we've heard a lot of people complaining that we don't have public input and people sit back and don't. So I think the last few years, we've had a lot of public input. So sometimes we may not come off correctly or we get worked up, but the reason is we're concerned about it. We have financial input into it, and by the time it gets to you, and I think I've said this to Don once, by the time it gets to you, we're already frustrated with something. And that's unfortunate. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation. So, and we may not be public speakers. So when you see that turnout, it means people care about their community. And it is a shame because I've seen multiple, and this is an example, you guys do listen and you do take care of it. In the past, I don't think people saw that. And that's why we already saw things happen. And I've heard even you guys complain about dealing with the feds, with different things, about how difficult it is dealing with bureaucracy. Well, we feel that sometimes dealing with bureaucracy. So that's it. When you, don't take it the wrong way, but when you're getting an outpouring, people are concerned. And in the past, people have been put off or told that we made a decision. So in respect to that, and like I said, there's been a couple meetings the last couple months that have been very well attended. And in a way, I think that's good. My other question was just about the Washington, and we could just discuss it. Just, I don't want you to spend a lot of time, just an overview. Most of it, because I know the neighbors are going to start talking about it. It's pretty much going to be underground. You'll have a panel above the ground for the controls at the end of Washington, but will most of the infrastructure be buried?
Yes.
And at the street, will anything change at the outfall pipe, or you'll tie into either an existing or a new outfall pipe?
Correct. We're going to probably be introducing a new force main pipe adjacent to the existing.
On Jefferson Avenue, we'd spoken about this. There's actually, people don't even realize that there's a sewage ejector on Jefferson that pumps, it actually goes a mile out into the ocean.
That's the Cape May County MUA.
Right,
facility.
so that's the same, similar thing, and there's a panel, I believe, outside, a stainless steel panel. So that, not exactly, but it will be similar to what we'll have, that type of infrastructure above the ground.
Correct.
Because when people hear a pump, I know they was gonna say, are they gonna put a pump in the industry? But most of it will be buried underground. Your electrical panel will be like similar to what's on Jefferson. Are you familiar with
Yes,
that?
because those panels and the controls will have to be above base flood elevation.
Right, so that'll be, because I know that on Jefferson, and you wouldn't even know, I think most people don't even realize that there's a sewage ejector there that's actually pumping it out a mile. So it'll be
Yep.
similar to that. And then there'll be one on the other end. And one on the other end will have a generator, full-time, the other one will be a temporary one. But in theory, even if the temporary one didn't get hooked up right away, you'll be pushing half the water out anyway. So if there was a flood and the power went out, by the time you got the generator there, the other generator would be pushing water to the bayside.
So the storm sewer pump station down on the bay side has a lot more latitude because we can do more things there. We can build a building, we can put a permanent generator there.
Right.
As opposed to Washington Street, Beach Street end,
Right.
we're gonna be more handicapped. So we've incorporated using a temporary generator that would be hooked up, would have to be driven there if
Right.
something happens.
It'll be on a trail.
However, we are gonna have a storm sewer gravity bypass so that if that pump station goes down, there's an ability to let it do what it does today. So we're not diminishing
Right.
what's there, we're only enhancing.
But even if only the permanent one was fired up, that would be pushing half of the water out anyway, in theory.
Well, actually, they're gonna be servicing two different drainage areas. So no, we wouldn't turn on one pump and suck down.
Yeah. But
from
we
there
wouldn't be
to-
getting that water, because right now, we're pretty much getting both of the waters coming to that low point.
Correct.
So we'd be getting less water to the low point. In the law that the temporary generator wasn't running.
And all of the water that hits the low point, which currently right now is the Seaview Washington Avenue
Right.
intersection, there's gonna be stormwater recharge piping that are gonna be in the street, and that's gonna grab some of that water and detain it and put it into the ground. So whatever was hitting that spot
Yeah.
is gonna be diminished because it's gonna be diverted out to the beachfront, hopefully perk in the ground and never make it over.
Like a French drain, kind of.
Yes, we successfully did that in Stone Harbor, so we're hopeful that we're gonna reduce the amount of water that actually hits that intersection.
Right. Okay, thanks a lot.
And then there'll be a pump to deal with it if it gets there.
So Joe, I think we're gonna do a public presentation
Right.
when it's time, because there has to be, I think part of the grant application
Yeah.
is a public presentation, number one. And there's an application to FEMA that we're hoping will fund it. So our belief is, although we could be wrong, is that because they gave us money to do the study, there's a good chance that they'll give us a good amount of money for the entire project. I think we're ballparking the project to be $13 to $15 million around there, somewhere in there, ballpark, depending on how much we go with it. That's to take care of the west side and the east side.
Okay.
So
Okay,
there's
thanks.
a bit of a process.
I'm just trying to save you a couple phone calls, because once word gets out that it's been approved, then you'll get a question. So maybe I could divert some of them. I'll pass it along to the
We'll
nation.
put the plan on our website as soon as it's
Okay.
final.
And thanks a lot for your work, and thanks a lot for the work with everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Good evening, I'm Chris Calderbank. You know this topic, I've emailed you 3 years running. So I just want to go on the record about the flags being flown on the beach that are just beyond vulgar, beyond appropriate, and something I don't want to really have to explain to my grandkids. I think we all know what the spelling of the word means, even if you leave a letter or two out. It's obvious. We don't need to debate that. So, you know, it's just inappropriate. And I personally think, as I said to you, Don, we ran into each other at Turtle Gut, and I think we're embarrassing ourselves by not taking action, because I really feel like we're going to end up in the news in a bad way, and not in a positive light towards, like we always like to be seen as a great beach town that we all love. So I really think we need to take a stand on this. This is not me hanging a flag on my house. This is not me wearing a shirt or putting a bumper sticker on my car. This is someone coming to a public park, sticking a pole in the ground, and hanging a flag up that says F somebody. It's wrong. It doesn't matter if it says F. Biden or F. Trump or F. the Pope. It's wrong. And we really need to do something about it. It is 3 years now I've written you. I know someone was here last week and spoke on the last meeting and spoke on this. I was out of the country. Actually, was in Italy. And I didn't get a chance. I don't know how you picked that out. I was thinking, did I tell him that way? So I didn't dial in. I intended to come to the last meeting, so I'm here now.
Okay.
And I did see that the Herald picked it up. You know, there's been articles written in other publication 2 years ago. The Philadelphia Inquirer wrote about how people feel about flags. You'd be surprised how offensive flags are. Even a flag of a country offends people, but this is beyond that. So I would really like to see us do something, and I personally think it needs to be done pretty quickly. We're heading into an election cycle. Things are heating up, no matter which side of this you're on. Again, this isn't me standing here as a Democrat or Republican. This is me being a resident of Wildwood Crest. I think I said in my email, for my 51st summer. My parents bought the house also when I was much younger. And, you know, it's embarrassing to me. And you bring down, you know, people from out of town and they're like, what is that? So, you know, I would really ask that we give this some thought. I think we would all be pretty upset if the flag said F and add one of your names to the end of that flag and they were flying it on your beach, on your street. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if you have any comments now. I think, again, you and I personally have discussed this via email and in person this past Sunday, I think it was. So I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts, but I feel pretty strongly on this one, and that's why it's 3 years in a row that I've written to you. It's the first year I've come to speak about it.
Okay. Commissioners, anybody?
I think we touched on this last meeting. I think Ron could probably shed a little bit more light on this in terms of the legal aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly do some more pointed specific research on the matter, but it's difficult for the government to get into the regulation of the content of speech. I'm sure you know all this. And time, place, manner can be regulated. Ban flags from the beach would probably be a more appropriate thing to do, or an easier way to do it. That in and of itself could create some problems. But I'll look at attempting to pass a government ordinance to regulate the content of speech, but I don't hold out much hopes that can be done. Protected by the First Amendment, and although I personally agree with you, sir, vulgarity is something that would have to be defined if you're going to regulate it. And that's wherein the challenge lies.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, sorry.
It'll be difficult, but I will look into it. Perhaps there are some examples of other communities who have dealt with it. See if we can impose some type of regulation that could realistically withstand the challenge, and not just throw something up there that's going to get the municipality embroiled in some type of litigation.
I'm not sure why it really seems to be a wild woods thing to hang fly flags on the beach. If you go to other beaches, you don't quite see it nearly as much. I'm not saying that as a positive or negative. And now people feel it's okay to push the matter much further, obviously, and I don't know what we'll see next. But, you know, I summons the beach patrol last year and they said, not my thing, and nothing could be done. I personally would say if you feel that we could stand behind the law that completely bans flags in the interim, then let's do that while we think about doing something that's specific to vulgar or hateful flags. That's a solution to get us past this summer where we can feel proud about going to the beach again. But I'm sitting next to a guy flying that. I take pictures of them. I make sure they know that I've got pictures of them standing in front of their flag, and they don't know where that's going to show up. But I send it to newspapers. Multiples. And I'm telling you, maybe I'm gonna be the reason we're in the news in a negative light. But if that's what it takes, I'm gonna do it. I'm pushing the matter. I've written an op-ed piece that I'm about to send in. I haven't sent it yet, but I think I'm well within my right after a third summer of addressing this. I want to bring this to the forefront. I want us to talk about it as a community and do something about it.
Right, and just a quick summary, so what we had discussed on Sunday, I mentioned that, certainly vulgar flags and things like that on beaches or public parks can't be anything new to a municipality, so perhaps there are other sample ordinances or things that we need to do the research on to find out, also understanding what case law says and diving into the Constitution and so forth. And I was honest when I said if you amend an ordinance, it takes roughly 2 months to do that. By the time that happens, you're looking at August. So I'm not one for rushing to get to put a law in effect and have our police department and the beach patrol start enforcing something that's going to wind up getting them in trouble. I want to make sure we take our time and do it right. And that was the same response I think we mentioned before, and the same advice. And I think to Ron's point, I think basically it's going to be a tough challenge. But I'm not saying we're not. I'm just saying time is needed to review that. So I'll leave it up to.
Is there a middle ground we could find to deter it? I mean, is there some way we can approach individuals?
One thing you did say that kind of offended me.
Yeah.
And that I'm not banning an American flag. There's a ton of them.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
I'm just telling you, there's
That's against federal law.
There's a ton of them on the beach, and I'm proud to be a part of that. But your statement was to ban all flags, and I misunderstood.
Okay, no, you're right. That's a valid point. Look, I'm on my HOA board at my other home, and I know that we ban political flags, we ban flags. We are not allowed to ban American flags, therefore we don't. So I know that for a fact.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Public comments? Anybody on the conference line have any public comments? All right. If anyone has any more, we have a second round coming. We have nothing listed under new business. Any updates on anything under old business?
I just have one. And I appreciated your comments, commissioners, for the lightning detection system, and they were very valid. I did have an opportunity to speak to the vendor, and he had mentioned if we as commissioners would like to see this product in motion, hear it, see it, whatever, he would be happy to come down. I just didn't, anytime, so I just didn't know whether or not he would bring a portable unit down to place it out so we could have a better understanding. So do you want to get back to me, think about it, give me dates or whatever, and maybe we can move forward from there. I know there were some, excuse me, legal concerns about doing it or not doing it, and then there was a JIF concern we haven't heard back from.
We will hear back tomorrow. I did forward you an email today that
yeah,
Dave
I saw
will
that.
get back to you tomorrow.
Yep, got it. So, I mean, I think it's good for us to figure things out and see if we want to go in that direction.
For lightning detection.
Yes, sir.
So on that, speaking to notice to the residents and so forth, so I think that's something so everyone knows what we're talking about. So this has a visible audio alarm and a visual alarm that when lightning is detected, it would send off siren, flash and so forth. So Commissioner Schiff is suggesting it is based on some of the comments that we have internally is to take a look and see how loud that is and what what are and so forth to see. But from a legal standpoint, if God forbid you have it and then something does happen, how does that, what position does that put the borough in? So those are some of the details that we're looking at.
And we'll make everybody aware of it, that's all. So when we do test it, we'll invite everybody.
Okay, so that was
All right.
that. Mr. de Blasio, traffic study, can we give that a different name? It's really not a traffic study. I think what we're talking about is it a review of traffic calming? Is that probably a better terminology?
So we'll change that.
Techniques.
Yes, traffic
Techniques.
Techniques.
Traffic techniques.
All right.
I like that.
You have a proposal or something coming, I guess. I understand you met internally and.
Yeah, we discussed it, yep.
All right. Code enforcement, anything on that? Do we have an ad running in the paper? What do we need to do with that to get that off the ground?
I don't know, it's a commissioner shift on that one, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we were waiting, really financially, there was nothing in our budget to add another person on. I'd like to do that, so just give us a little time to work that out.
Okay. Back beach excavation is on hold pending the Army Corps Dune plan. Dredging is in progress. Anything
Yeah,
on
so Connie touched on a lot of it, pretty much all of it. So I think we're moving forward finally.
Yes,
So,
we are.
Yeah, so we're excited for that. So she had it on her report, so.
that? CAFRA permit, I think we're good there, right? We take that
Yeah,
off.
take that off. Now it's a waterfront development permit.
New Jersey Avenue infrastructure, pre-county, nothing happening on that. Public Works roof, getting ready, we just need to get the specs done on that and out to bid. Borough Hall exterior in addition, office news, I think that's pretty much is there anything happening on that? If not, I think we just take it off.
Well, there's nothing happening on that right now.
You okay with taking it off?
Yeah,
Let's take that off.
we'll have to revisit it later.
Bayside outfall capacity bulkhead replacement, that's actually, funding's in place for phase one, where I understand we got a JD determination that a CAFRA permit is not needed, just a wetlands, is that correct?
Right,
No,
it's a
waterfront
waterfront
development.
development,
Okay.
either individual or general, we're not sure yet.
Gotcha, that's good news.
What's
All
the
right.
turnaround on that? I didn't ask, on
Turnaround?
the decision
Well,
of.
right now, Pete Lomax has been authorized to do the work, and apply, but a, individual will take a lot longer than general. Generals are very simple.
Yeah, you wanna be in the,
Paperwork.
you wanna be in the general arena.
Category.
Yep.
And then we also need we may need an Army Corps permit, but that depends on, the high tide, so that's a whole nother issue, but those aren't as difficult to get either, much easier to get. We should have answers for you in a few weeks.
Arch Pavilion exterior, we're just gotta finish up the application to the county on that.
Tomorrow.
Washington Seaview, so we just talked about that. Update landscaping at Lightning Business District, that's still in the works. Lightning detection system, we talked about that. All right, last round of public comments. Anybody else? Anybody in the conference line have any public comments? Hearing none. Commissioners, do you have any comments?
I would just like to say, I thought the reopening or grand opening of the Arts Pavilion was really well done, and it was a nice turnout.
Good, yep.
I'll be brief. Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Shift on that. And also, the Creating the Crest was fantastic this weekend. I just want to give a quick shout out to our public safety. They were excellent. Our rec department, our public works. Connie was heavily involved in that creation. If I had to guess, it was probably about 500 people that walked through that day. And our Creative Arts Council, one that is here right now, Patty McQueen, they did a fantastic job. And they are all volunteers. They did an amazing job. So I just wanted to say thank you to each department and our Creative Arts Council. Awesome job.
Can I dispel a rumor or see if it's
Did
true?
you go? I didn't see you there.
I was working on the beach. I couldn't get up there. I was too busy. But I heard you were selling lemonade. Were you at the lemonade stand?
I was not selling lemonade. No, I was not.
Rumor.
Beach Brew USA was
They were,
doing the
and they
lemonade.
donated the amount back, so.
Okay, yes, I don't have any more public comments other than what was already mentioned. I thought the Arts Pavilion grand opening went very well, and thank you for everyone that had a hand in that, not to repeat myself, and thanks to Commissioner Maury and Assemblyman Simonson for taking the time to come, and for all the hard work that the Arts Council and the Green Team and the Recreation staff, Public Works, Police Department, everyone that had a hand in it. If the building's up and running, and if you get a chance to stop by and you know, take a look inside there and try out a beach brew and cold Beach Brew USA. So it's not a brew, it's coffee. It's not craft beer or anything. I want to make sure I don't get everybody all excited.
I thought you said boo-hoo.
And that's it for me. And I want to thank everybody for coming and participating in today's meeting, and entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second, Trish.
All in favor?